The first building on the right is the incumbency effect gift shop. This represents how an incumbent president is more likely to win. Next is the swing state boat ride. This represents the two powerful parties fighting over states in elections. Next up is the Pistol Pete roller coaster, representing the ups and downs of controversial gun laws. After this, we have the presidential plummet. The downfall of the slide represents presidents' careers ending with impeachment. And it's even a bit functional. After this, we move on to the Bumpin' Bill of Rights. These bumper cars represent each time a boat bumps another, it represents another bill being fought to be passed. After this, we move on to the ratification roller coaster. It has a lot of unexpected twists and turns because that's how difficult it is to ratify something, always something changing. After this, we move on to the PAC's carousel. The horses are controlled by their riders, much like PACs control presidential candidates. Next, we have the 1930s plummet, representing the ups and downs of the 1920s to 1930s. This represents the up and downs of our economy as a nation. After this, we move on to the two-party system drop. The drop is based on the failure of the two-party system that our founding fathers expected. Next up is the Pork Barrel Diner. It represents the idea of bringing home the bacon, and it relates to the pork barrel politics. Next, we'll head on over to the Impeachment Cafe. You may start at the House to order your food, but you check out and pay at the Senate. Relates to a president's impeachment. The House must pass the articles of impeachment. The Senate must then approve them. Next up is the Equal Rights Snow Cone. It's a rainbow snow cone stand showcasing public policies like gay rights and many other different types. After this, we have the Speedy Trial Cafe. This cafe is fast food correlating to a speedy trial, known as the fastest service in the park. Now, let's move on to the preamble ticket booth. At the beginning of the park. It correlates to the preamble of the Constitution, and this is where you begin to get your tickets. Next, we have the Nixon vs. Reagan photo booth kiosk. One option is no filter like Nixon, and the other is Reagan. Reagan tricked Nixon into not wearing makeup in the first televised debate. Next, we have the John Hancock attraction, one of our founding fathers. He was one of the people that created the Constitution. After this, we move on to the right to bear arms. This represents the panda bears being dangerous just like owning weapons, but it is still our right to use them. Let's move on to our next shop, the First Amendment Word Shop. This is filled with famous quotes, thoughts, religious verses, and expressions. Directly correlates to the First Amendment Bill of Rights, freedom of speech. We didn't get to everything in this video, but everything else is covered on our document.